Wonderful. Well, again, hello everybody, and good morning in India. I'm very excited to be working with Molly with IFBIC, and I think we are also getting even more excited on our trip over to India in September. Looks like we're scheduled to be there September 15th. Be very exciting. This is my first time to India, so I'm looking forward to it. So generally, the real estate market in Canada has seen a little bit of an adjustment. The major markets are seeing a slowdown of the very busy and very intense COVID market in the last 2.5 years. And I think it's quite normal in North America that we saw a lot of the major markets see a exodus a little bit from the downtown cores, and people were buying in the outlying areas, whether it was, in the suburbs or even some of the resort sectors. So we definitely saw that in Canada as well. We saw the main markets like in Toronto or Vancouver. A lot of people were leaving those areas and going to the outlying areas. So we saw also, though, regardless of people leaving the Vancouver, Toronto markets, we saw hyper growth in those markets as well. So it was a very interesting phenomenon how the downtown cores were literally on fire with the real estate, but also the outside areas in some of the resorts or some of the, like I said, the suburbs were also doing very well. And a lot of that was also because we have a strong immigration policy into Canada, as probably most of this audience knows. We see a lot of Indians come into the major markets, especially in Vancouver and Toronto. And so they really help buoy the real estate market in those areas. And as well, we also, with the Ukrainian situation going on, I didn't realize this, Molly, before I jumped on this Zoom. I actually looked at the numbers, and Canada, outside of Ukraine and Russia, has the highest population of Ukrainians living in another country, and it's Canada. Well, we got almost 1.4 million Ukrainians living here. So Canada also has a very good immigration policy, whether it's for the Indians coming over or whether it's for the Ukrainians who are trying to flee Ukraine, or wherever they're coming from. We see a lot of Asians coming here as well from other parts of the world, like Hong Kong and Taiwan and China. So, with Canada's welcoming immigration, that really helps also put the real estate in a favorable position, especially in some of these markets. We see a lot of tech industry people coming here from some of the Asian countries, as I mentioned, and also from India and other countries over there, to really establish themselves in the tech industry and grow with the industry that's here. So Vancouver, over the last year or two, has seen a tremendous amount of young tech people coming who are educated and schooled over in their home countries, and are coming here to work with some of the big tech firms. And what we're seeing, Molly, is we're seeing some of the big companies like Google or Amazon, they're setting up headquarters in Vancouver and Toronto now, because they know that a lot of these smart young tech people are coming from other countries, and they can come to Canada relatively easily. So that's why we're seeing them setting up headquarters and offices in some of the markets, so that they can attract these young tech people, and that they can work for some of these large companies and get established. And then, maybe eventually they can get into the US if the immigration starts to open up there a little bit for them. But one of the things I really noticed over the last few months when I was in Vancouver is how many young tech people are living in Vancouver. And I've heard it's also the same thing in Toronto. So I was doing a little research as well, and we are, despite the market slowing down a little bit, the banks are forecasting that we will see some price drops starting now and through to Q1 of 2023. And, it's kind of expected. The market is normalizing only because it was so accelerated and it's so extreme before. Now we're just seeing a normalization of it. So the market is still strong, but we do anticipate some price drops. We've already seen a few markets drop their prices, maybe a couple points, but we could see them go further over the next couple of quarters. So we might see some price drops as high as 10 or 15, or maybe even higher in some markets, just as the market normalizes. But regardless, we really anticipate it won't create a big problem in the future because of the immigration. that's coming in to these markets. And I was looking at some stats. The Toronto market is anticipating a positive immigration next year of over 400,000 people, and that's a huge number. So that will really put pressure on not only the real estate market, but also on the rental market. And the rental market is so robust in some of these markets because they need these rental condominiums or rental apartments for these young tech people coming here. So the markets in Canada, I think the real estate markets in Canada will continue to be strong because of immigration. But the other factor is that we're a resource company, a resource country, as most people know. And one of our biggest exports to the US is oil. We are the largest exporter of a foreign country of oil to the US. We account for 51% of that oil export to the US, which a lot of people don't realize that. Russia is 8%, just to give you another percentage. Saudi Arabia is around, I think, 10%, but Canada we're the biggest oil exporter. So that also helps us from a market perspective as well. So, we are seeing adjustments in the market. We are seeing, though, opportunities because prices are going to drop because they were so accelerated for 2.5 years. And the other thing is Indians love coming to Canada because of the immigration, but once they get here, they find it's easy to assimilate into the culture. A lot of the banks are set up for Indian customers. A lot of the businesses. There's so many, Indians wanting to move to Canada because of that. It is a little colder here, but they tolerate that, and we find that the Indians really assimilate into our business and our culture, and we welcome them. And so it's so great to have the opportunity to work with IFBIC and present, not only, real estate market updates and let them know what's going on here, but also to, if anybody's thinking of coming over, we are getting things set up, as you know, Molly, to help some of our Indian members with IFBIC think about maybe moving to Canada and getting residency as well. So we're working on that. And I think that is sort of a general overview of what's happening here in Canada. I talk to industry leaders across Canada pretty much every other day. So it's great that I can pull on information if anybody has, they want to know, well, what's going on in Lethbridge, Alberta, or what's going on in Moncton, New Brunswick. I can pull information from all those markets. Okay. So hopefully that gives a little bit of overview of what's happening in Canada here with the real estate market. Should we just go into any questions, or what's your thoughts, Molly?